The following audio may contain the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to healthy living and weight loss will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may contain income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.
So welcome to our call tonight, where you're going to have an opportunity to hear what OPTAVIA is all about. This is an opportunity to hear real stories from real people about the impact that OPTAVIA has had in their life. February is Heart Month, and so today we want to focus on the heart of the matter. We want to focus on what really it is that matters most to people. Society will try to convince you that you live in an either or reality, that you can either be successful professionally or you can be present for the things that matter most to you. But what you're going to hear tonight is stories of successful professionals that discovered that OPTAVIA was a vehicle for a both and reality, where they can be both successful professionally and present for the things that matter most to them. My name is Donni Alvarenga, and I am honored to be one of your hosts tonight. As far as what matters most to me, I'm going to tell you what, it is my family. I happen to be mom to 9-year-old twins, and 9 years ago, two magical things happened. The first was I achieved a dream of becoming a mom. If you had asked me when I was 7 years old what it was that I wanted to be when I grow up, I wanted to be a mom. And when I delivered my twins, that was a huge momentous event. However, what I didn't realize is that I had also just stumbled upon the vehicle to create another dream that I had, the dream to be a stay-at-home mom. And I was a professional. I was a nurse practitioner, and I have always been a significant contributor to my family's budget. And I was trapped in that either-or reality. I thought that I could either be successful professionally, or I could either have a comfortable lifestyle or be a stay-at-home mom. I had to choose between one or the other. And what OPTAVIA has offered me is the opportunity to be both a successful professional and the stay-at-home mom that I never imagined possible. And beyond that, it has also shown me that it is also possible that kids have both mom and dad home. I thought that it would either mean that my husband had to be working and we would never see him and I would be home with the kids, or my kids would have no parents home. And over the past 5 years, even though my husband was also a successful professional in the IT world, OPTAVIA has created a vehicle for us to be able to be home with our kids. And we live in Florida, and our kids had never seen snow until last month. And thanks to the freedom that we have to control our schedule and to plan life around what matters most to us, we literally got in the car and went on a snow hunting expedition. And I am so incredibly blessed and excited that we get to plan our lives around what matters most to us, and that we could be, hunting for snow on a Thursday afternoon and not have to ask anyone for permission on how it is that we use our time. I'm excited to introduce you to my co-host today, Dr. Joe, who also was a successful professional as a physician and general and vascular surgeon. Welcome, Dr. Joe.
Well, thanks so much, Donni. And as you can see in the picture, I mean, you talk about both and. I'd say even more than that, because a lot of people wonder, can a surgeon really have a life? And mostly it's physicians that wonder that, because the average person doesn't really understand what a surgeon's lifestyle is like. So what OPTAVIA really had done for us was an incredible thing in that it allowed us to be able to follow our passions without having to give up one or the other. It's not as if I had to only do surgery. You can see what I call my business before and after there is in the operating room and on the kayak, really just to represent the two different aspects of things that you love, but one representing a greater degree of freedom. And then you see me with that little boy on the mission field there as well. And really that's one of the things that I'll talk about a little bit later, but it's just something that a lot of people don't realize you can have. They would like to believe it, but they don't. And so hopefully we're going to bring those belief levels up tonight for those who are wondering and they're looking at this for the first time.
Oh yeah, I believe it, Dr. Joe. You know, I had a hard time believing it too, right?
Yeah, no question. Now, before we get into the details though of the transformational program and some of these stories, let me give a little bit of background on who we are, because I know when I first looked at this as a physician, I said to myself, I remember all those crazy liquid protein diets in the 60s and the medications that people gave and how people developed heart arrhythmias and things. So I said, let me look into what it is that I might consider getting into. And so what I found was, I found OPTAVIA, which is a company that's committed to providing solutions for people to create optimal health. And more than 30,000 independent OPTAVIA coaches are around the country and now in a few other areas of the world. Many of those are health professionals, but the vast majority are not. The vast majority are people that saw the value in our program. And thanks to our co-founder, Dr. Wayne Anderson, who I think it's his birthday today. He's also a New York Times best-selling author. And what he did is he put together this system with the overriding mission to offer the world lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. And we know that we can do that. Our parent company, Medifast, has been a leader for years. They've won so many awards. They have developed proven products, proven programs, have their own R&D, all based in this country, New York Stock Exchange. And we have already impacted more than 1 million lives. So when we look at what's possible, it's a lot more. And so lifelong transformation is something that starts with an individual. But individuals make up populations, and you can see the statistics there. Worldwide, obesity has tripled practically since 1975. And what we do know now too is that more people in the world are dying from obesity than from malnutrition and starvation, which is something that is new in the last few decades. But what we're going to talk about tonight is going to take it one more step. And that's, what about how do Americans feel about their lives? And you could see that almost 1/3 of people with partners, and who knows what the single percentages are, say that money is a source of conflict. And so we know that since 69% of people are stressed over their finances, a lot of them are even talking about it at work. So who knows what's going on at people's jobs these days. These are important statistics because we know that people will often say, I don't want to be a statistic. Well, the good news is with this program, you don't have to be those kind of statistics.
That's the truth. And as we mentioned, we're going to be talking about what is OPTAVIA really all about. And our goal is to help people create optimal health, which we believe is a sweet spot between a healthy mind, healthy body, and healthy finances. Wherever you're coming to us from today, whether you're a client or a coach or a guest, I invite you to ask yourself, how are you doing in each of those areas? Have you ever noticed that if any one of them is a little bit off, how it trickles into the other two? And what OPTAVIA does is it offers a resource, a tool, a system, a structure to help people find that sweet spot where all three areas are in balance. Now, we don't believe that health comes in a pill or a package or a prescription or a potion. We believe that it comes in our daily choices. And those daily choices are so much easier said than done. It is so much easier for me to tell you what to do than it is for me to do what I know. I mean, have you ever felt that way where you know what to do, but you're not doing it because fill in the blank? Well, what we do through OPTAVIA is that OPTAVIA offers 4 separate tools to make the process of habit retraining simple. As Dr. Joe mentioned, our goal is lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. And so we offer people tools to make that process simpler. A tool is an instrument that makes a job easy. Let's think about, for example, the task of putting a nail in the wall. You can do that by whacking it with a rock. You can do that by whacking it with a pen. You can do that by whacking it with a hammer or by using a nail gun. The difference between each one is how simply you're going to get the job done and how quickly you're going to get the job done. And the longer you spend working hard on something, the higher the chances that you might give up. And so what we do is we give you a nail gun and we make it very, very simple. So the thought that it just may not be possible does not even cross your mind. So the first tool that we use is the one-on-one accountability of a coach. I like to call that the power of saving face. When you know that somebody's going to be checking in on you and that cares about you and that is in this journey with you, then all of a sudden it increases the chances that you're going to follow through with whatever commitment you made. So that's the first tool, is the accountability piece. The second tool is the educational component, and it is a very simple system, including a book and a life book, which is a lot like a journal, and an app. And the intent there is to empower you to become the expert on your own health. And so what we do as coaches is we guide people through the Habits of Health transformational system. And that addresses everything from sleep to stress management, to water, to nutrition, to activity, to relationships, to mindset, all of it. The third tool is the sense of community. As human beings, we tend to do what other people are doing, right? People do what people do, and we tend to become like the top 5 people that we spend the most time with. So what we do is we leverage positive peer pressure, if you will, and plug you into a community of people that are all making health a priority. And that sets new behavioral norms, not to mention that it's just so much more fun. So that's the third tool, is the sense of community. The fourth tool is the simplicity factor when it comes to healthy eating. We know that health is about so much more than nutrition, but when it comes to the eating piece, a lot of people stumble. Have you ever heard that the healthy way to eat is to eat frequent small meals? As a nurse practitioner, I used to recommend that all the time. And I would have people that would come in with a 100-calorie pack snack of cookies, right? And I couldn't understand why I couldn't help them. I couldn't understand why they couldn't chop up an apple. But what I discovered is that most people live very crazy busy lives. And if it's not simple enough, we won't do it. So what OPTAVIA has done is they've offered us a very simple system so that we can develop the habit of eating the right food at the right time for the right reason. For those that are looking to lose weight, all they have to do is plan and prepare one meal a day. That one meal consists of a lean protein and vegetables. The other 5 meals, we actually make them healthy grab-and-go meals that we have delivered to you at home. And what that does is it creates a little bit of a controlled environment so that we're able to create predictable results. Now, we have meal plans for people with multiple different goals, whether you need to lose weight or not. But ultimately, the bottom line is this: we make it simple. We make it simple. I'm so excited to introduce you guys to 2 successful professionals that were trapped in that either or paradigm. A successful nurse practitioner, a successful attorney that had this beautiful family and decided that they were not okay with being trapped in that either or, and they wanted both and. They wanted to be successful and they wanted to be present in the lives of their children. So Jocelyn and Dave, welcome to the webinar.
Thank you so much, Donni. We're super excited to be here and to share what we hope will inspire someone the way that this program has truly, inspired and blessed our lives. About, a year and a half ago, I reached out to Donni. I had heard her speak at a local nurse practitioner meeting. And she said, if anyone's interested in learning more about health coaching, I'd love to share. And so 3 years later, I found our family in a tough situation. Dave was working around the clock. He was never home. I had lost my dad, who was, my biggest cheerleader, and we had 3 little children, ages like 3, 2, and 1, or 4, 2, and 1 at the time. So it was crazy busy. And Dave, what I could count on one hand how many times he was home for dinner on a weeknight since our second son was born. So I just looked at him, and if you see in the first picture there, you see we love the outdoors. We love, nature. We love to be active. There's so many things that we love to do that we weren't doing. Dave, one thing when we met, we love being adventurous and explore and travel, and there just none of that was able to happen with our lifestyle at the way that it was. And so I reached out to Donni and found out, how I could help him not be so incredibly stressed in a corporate law job that kept him away from our family all the time, but also wouldn't put me in a position that I had to be away from our family more. And so I like to say the side effect of that conversation was that I lost 50 pounds, which was amazing. And Dave actually, in that also, he reversed 5 years ago, he had a stent after a 95% block in his widowmaker artery in his heart for Heart Month. And when he was working so much, my uncle said, he needs to get the hell out of that job. It's the stress, is no good. And so anyway, he had put on 40 pounds after the stent was put in, and I was beside myself worried about his health. So he lost 40 pounds. So you see us there at my 40th birthday, such better health. And fast forward again, I started my coaching business along with helping Dave come home to do, start his own business as an attorney. And as he was starting to build that business, I was building mine and also working much more outside the home than I wanted to. But in the past year, I've been able to grow my coaching business so that when they, closed the doors to the corporate, like the retail nurse practitioner clinic I was working in, I didn't have to run out and find another job to be away from my kids more. I actually looked at Dave and said, I think we're okay. We have freedom to make this choice and build our life around what's most important to us, which are these 3 little people you see in the other picture there. So it's been an incredible journey. I think Dave's seen one thing that he's commented on a lot. If you want to speak to about how the impact you've seen, how it's been.
Yeah. So, Jocelyn loved being a nurse practitioner. She spent many years in school, to be able to do it. She was able to take care of patients, acute needs, but it didn't really fulfill her in the way that she expected it to. When people go to nursing school or medical school, they think they're going to be able to cure people's ills. But what she found is it was more putting Band-Aids on people's problems. And they came back over and over and over. She was in primary care, with the same stuff year after year. They didn't really get better. And so that's why it's been so obviously intrinsically rewarding for her to do the coaching, because she's changing people's lives in a way that she never really got to as a nurse practitioner. She started with our friends. She would help our friends lose 40, 50, 70 pounds. And now, hundreds of people that she has had that same, effect on their lives. And while, I see her working hard at it, I also see her heart, fill up, through the process by impacting others' lives so immensely.
How has it impacted your schedule, Dave, and your availability?
So, to answer that, I'll just step back a little bit. So, Jocelyn was describing, how I was working before we found all this and the health issues I was having, and it sort of seems crazy in retrospect. Like, how could somebody that had a 95% blockage in such a dangerous situation allow themselves to gain the weight back. And candidly, it was because I didn't think it was plausible to do what I thought was necessary to lose the weight. We're told all these things about what is necessary to be healthy. You have to, wake up 2 hours earlier and exercise. You have to go through starvation pains and stuff. And I didn't have time to do that, but I did have time to get healthy because there was another better way. And so fast forward to after I got healthy, the amount of time that I did have, I could actually use it in a constructive way. I wasn't, tired, loafing on the couch. I was able to get up outside, like this first picture, and hike with my kids, hike with my family, go, kayaking with them, and more energy to make the time that was there, more valuable.
Yeah. So
I love that. Thank you guys for sharing, really what that has done for your family in terms of creating some time. And I love how Jocelyn said that losing the weight was a side effect, because there are so many benefits to becoming a coach with OPTAVIA. First of all, it reinforces your decision to be healthy, because as you help others, you just can't help but live what you're helping them to do. And that just reinforces the habits. Now, when you pay it forward, you heard Dave talking about the incredible sense of purpose that has brought to Jocelyn's life. Not only is it incredibly rewarding, but it's actually kind of fun, actually a lot of fun. And so you get compensated not only in the currency of goodwill, which is amazing, but you also get compensated financially, which is part of what creates more freedoms, more options. As Jocelyn mentioned, her position was downsized at the end of last year, and she had options. My husband's position was downsized 5 years ago, and we had options because we had this business in place, and we can leave a legacy that we can be proud of. Now, OPTAVIA offers us a progressive growth model where you can grow as far or as fast as you like. You start out as a coach where you acquire and support clients. And what ends up happening is that your clients oftentimes are loving life, are loving their results, and they can't keep quiet about it. And so it's often a very logical progression that they just want to pay it forward and help their friends and family. And so when they decide to do that, then you become a business coach and you support them in launching their coaching business. And then there's also the option to become a business leader, where you can build teams of coaches, which are kind of like little micro franchises that you can expand your business as big as you like. Earlier, you got to hear a little bit of Dr. Joe's story, but what I would love for you guys to hear is also Rhonda's side of the story. Rhonda is Dr. Joe's wife. Rhonda, welcome to the webinar. We would love to hear from you. How many hours did Dr. Joe used to work and be away from home?
Oh my goodness, many, many hours. Basically, it was a life of inconvenience. Him being a general and vascular surgeon, and I was in the office. I managed the office. We drove separately to church. We drove separately to vacations, and would meet up just because he worked so many hours being in solo practice. And he also had a vein clinic too. So it was just a lot of time, and we just didn't have that time. So our life was not normal. He would get called in at all hours in the middle of the night, or if we were at an event or at the movies, we had to just really plan carefully. And of course our health suffered, right? I mean, I was up 20 pounds. Joe was up 123, like you talked about earlier. And it was very stressful. And I was really, really very concerned with his health, because that was when we started out as clients in OPTAVIA, we became health coaches the same day, because honestly, we were looking, okay? We had a great life. We really did. Joe's a very dedicated father, but you know what? We were looking for something greater.
Yeah, and it certainly was a life of inconvenience, but I think every surgeon going into that career knows that it's going to be a life of inconvenience. And that was just our life. And what happens though is a lot of people don't think about the family aspect. What is the family experience of very busy professionals that are working some weeks more than 110 hours even? it takes a lot of support, and Rhonda and our children gave great support in that way. But at the same time, things changed dramatically. Once we got involved in this, and we started coaching, as Rhonda said, concurrently, while I was a surgeon at 123 pounds, barely able to lean over the operating table. And we got started, and in little cracks of time, we didn't realize how liberating the freedom was going to be. Because what happened was eventually we were able to pursue other passions more liberally, in the sense that we had more time to do them, as soon as we started really living fully on the OPTAVIA income. And it was 8 years ago on my birthday that we looked at each other and said, you know what, it's time to close the practice. And a lot of my colleagues thought that our lifestyle was going to suffer. And when they saw that it didn't, I kind of laughed, because one of them said, oh, he must have inherited a lot of money or something. And I'm like, no, we just played our cards right. We did the work, and we helped other people.
Oh my goodness, the OPTAVIA income has just been, I mean, we love help coaching. We love helping others. That's our heart, to love and serve others. And we love adventures and experiences too. But you know, we were very, very limited. So now we have the time. Wow, the time to do our mission with our nonprofit and just serving in those poor areas in the world. And also the earned trips that we get to do with OPTAVIA that are so much fun. And just we're living that relaxed lifestyle now, and making our own schedule. I remember a week when Ariel was in college, we went to visit, and it was during the week. There were no parents around but us. And we had so much fun being with her roommates and just spending time and making dinners. And wow, just those experiences you don't want to miss in life. And so we get to see these massive transformations every week when we talk to our clients, when we talk to our coaches, mentor coaches, you know, because we're helping people get to better health. What greater blessing is that? And have a better life with healthy finances as a health coach.
Yeah, it really, it's true. Things are so different. And when we talk about the relaxed lifestyle, I can remember the one time Rhonda said to me, if the hardest decision you have to make right now is whether to go for a run or go kayaking before the massage therapist gets here, that's pretty good. And I say that not because we don't work, we do, we work very hard, but we're able to control our time, and we're able to prioritize our time accordingly. So we can pursue the nonprofit mission work. We can oversee the building of churches and wells, and now a hospital in Kenya, without having to ask someone for time off, or without having to think about overhead happening while we're gone, or for having to find someone to actually work for me and cover my practice while I'm gone. So this is one of the reasons, and some of the reasons, why we share this opportunity with so many people. So you might ask, well, how does this coaching thing work? Well, it's a relational model. People come first. Just as you've heard so many people talk about tonight, it's helping others first. And once we help other people, we realize that not only is that good for their well-being, but it's good for your well-being. You're self-employed. You're an independent business owner. You don't work for your coach. In fact, if anything, your coach works to help your business grow. Full-time or part-time income opportunities really depends on your work ethic. And for many people, they can develop what might be considered a full-time income during little cracks of time. Like for me, it was in between hospitals, or while I'm waiting for another operation to start. But the startup costs are not like a traditional business. They are extremely low, $199. And I can tell you, 15 years ago when we got started, it was actually $299. So things have gone down. So you can start this business with $199, work from anywhere, and have the flexibility to be able to grow your business while you're busy and have the complete training and support. It's a unique business like none other. So what kind of support do you get? Well, I say it's unique and it's complete because it is. It's a comprehensive system. It's duplicable. In other words, you don't have to keep reinventing the wheel. The wheel has been invented and we just have to roll it. It's something that you can learn while you're earning. If you get busy right out of the gate, you can start earning right out of the gate because you're working with your business coach and your entire business mentorship team. So we employ something called team coaching, which is much like an apprenticeship, that as you grow, you learn, like what Donni showed, the progressive growth model. You reach those at different levels according to your work ethic, but your mentor, your team will be working with you all along the way. We can show you the trail. We say, we show you the, we show the path, but you get to work at your own pace. So you might be looking at this and say, okay, where do I sign up? Well, get with the person who invited you here, or get with your coach, because it only takes a few minutes to get started. They can get you going right away. You may need a little bit of time to think about this, but I know there's people already are thinking to themselves, I know people that I can help. So why not do it? Get started, join a team that's a winning team, really a championship team, and let's get you as part of the OPTAVIA team tonight.
This audio may have contained the personal testimonials of some independent OPTAVIA coaches or clients of OPTAVIA. The results relayed in these messages are based on the unique experiences of the participants, and we cannot guarantee like or similar outcomes. While you may be inspired by these accounts, please note that any stories of success have not been verified, and your individual path to optimal health will vary. As always, it is our recommendation that you consult with a healthcare provider before starting a weight loss program. In addition, this audio may have contained income or earnings representations of some independent OPTAVIA coaches. OPTAVIA makes no guarantee of financial success. Success with OPTAVIA results from successful sales efforts, which requires hard work, diligence, skill, persistence, competence, and leadership. Please see the OPTAVIA income disclosure statement for statistics on actual earnings of coaches under the U.S. compensation plan, which differs from the international compensation plan. Yours in health, the OPTAVIA team.